Hey, it is now Wednesday. My God, it's been one hell of a week. My goodness. Anyway, so I since I have money on this one credit card, since I just paid it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna use it, which is terrible. I know, like, dude, that's not how you get out rid of credit card debt by using it again. But so I bought some Mother's Day stuff for my mother-in-law and my daughter-in-law, and then I did get the mother of my daughter-in-law like a blanket, right? To go like I both got them blankets, like throw blanket, you know, maybe you can use in your living room, you know, kind of thing. But different, like one's green, one's blue, and then yeah, and then because I thought I'd get them the same thing, it'd be kind of better. And anyway, and then I got the cards, and then I bought some frozen foods, and God, I was kind of going crazy, so I had to put some stuff back. But yeah, that's what I thought I would do. But that was not the whole point of this video. The point of this video was God. Oh, actually, now I don't know if I want to talk about that. But I was gonna talk about this movie I watched yesterday night. I don't know if I've seen it before. I don't think I ever did. I think it was called Eden, and it was good. It has this guy in there that I think is cute, you know, like I've been noticing him in movies. And anyway, yeah, he was in it, right? And anyway, it's based off a true story with Jude Law in it, okay? I know Jude Law was in it. The other characters, like I said, I don't know their names. But, and I used to think Jude Law was hot, but he's not anymore. That's the thing, so he's just not anymore. Of course, he wasn't in this movie, but he's one hell of an actor, let me tell you. You know, that's for sure. Like, this movie was basically this Jude Law's character and his woman went to another island to get away from people. Okay, they wanted away from everybody. And he's some kind of doctor philosophy guy that's very famous, right? And this couple, okay, it was basically a young lady, her older husband, and his son, right? Like, he had a son that was a teenager, or almost a teenager. They go to the island too, you know, to get away from everything. This is, I think they're in World War II, because, you know, he was in the war and this and that. And, you know, I guess they just wanted to start over fresh, like this guy, you know. It was funny because I guess they're dressed kind of weird, like Boy Scouts or something, you know. And then, and even them, the you know, Jude Law and his wife made a girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, companion anyway, made a comment about, like, why are you dressed like this, you know, like, and he's like, because of these articles, right, these newspaper things, they had them all dressed like they were in the safari, you know, I don't know, so maybe they had this, everyone has this idealistic of how these people are on this island living their life, but they wanted to get away from people, so they were definitely not happy they were on there, you know. They're like, oh my God, we gotta get these people, we want these people to go away, not be our neighbors, you know. And anyway, then so they sent them to a harder spot. Did have a little bit of water, but they said, oh, they'll never be able to grow things up there and blah blah blah, and they were wrong. They excelled at their hard work, you know. And then another lady who's like some kind of actress lady, but you know, she's very whatever, pretending to be like highfalutin and everything, and she's got 3 guys with her. One guy's a worker, and 2 guys, I don't know, I think, well, one of them was her boyfriend who had money and funded things until I guess she got made a broke, right? And she wanted to start a hotel there for the millionaires, right? That was her dream. She's like, I'm gonna do this. And then the other guy, he ends up being her lover too, let's just put it that way. Like, right off the bat, he's like her lover. And so she's basically got a poly thing going on there, except for that poor third guy. I was thinking, dude, there's 2 women on this island and a bunch of men. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, right? But anyway, yeah. So anyway, yeah, so now they got extra neighbors, and they're all kind of shady, you know what I mean? Like, so that, you know, obviously Jude Law's character's like, oh my god, more people we don't even want on here. Why the hell are they here? And then this lady wants to make a hotel, you know, and you can tell she's very, you know, good at what she does. So anyway, yeah, so that's basically what it's about, is I'm having a war, and it is so damn good. I mean, they said that basically these stories are basically off of the people who survived and this and that and whatever, and they, you know, because people did come to this island occasionally and stuff, you know, and oh my god, the drama stuff that happens in there is freaking amazing. I was like, holy crap, the things that they did. Now they basically said at the end of the story the second couple that came in there, they ended up staying there, and their families ended up running a hotel that was there. So see, they literally did create, you know, like something there. And this is the Galapagos Islands. I've heard it on Seinfeld, but I know I'm messing the name up. But yeah, I actually kind of would love to read the story about this whole stuff, like, you know, and I'm sure it's out there, you know. It was good. I'm not even kidding. You have got to watch this movie. It was like, I don't want to give anything away, because the suspenseful shit that happens, you don't want to know what happens. It's amazing, okay? Like, you just, I don't want to give any of it away, but oh, there was definitely times you're like thinking, oh my god, the evil people are going to win, because that's what usually happens in real life, right? They're so damn evil and they get away with this shit, right? But, I mean, like I said, it is kind of, since you don't actually know what 100% happened, you can't say for sure that this story is correct or even true, and that maybe the way they portrayed it might not be as honest as they said. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it. So, but yeah, but oh my god, it's definitely heartfelt. It's definitely like one of those stories. But I could never do that. I could not go on an island and make nothing from like they did. They're all, you know, like I said, pretty damn amazing. You know, it was almost kind of like Lord of the Flies. That's the, you know, storyline kind of there. But oh my god, yeah, I can't believe it's based off a true story. I just want to see, you know, like it's probably interesting to check out. Which made me kind of think, is I don't know why, but I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? My kids need to watch some movies. Like I was gonna make them watch Tudors, so they could kind of see, like, because I don't know what I was thinking about. When I was thinking about the reading thing and thinking about how, like, you know, back in the old days, everyone said this, that the Bible, we have the right to read the Bible for ourselves, thanks to these people who fought for the right when we were younger, which was part of the Tudors era too. You know, King Henry, whatever. You know what I mean? That was part of it. They were fighting for our right to read this Bible that people don't even read. We have it in our house. We barely read it. Most people don't pick it up. Most people don't even care anymore. And that's a pretty damn interesting significance. So I thought, God, I need to go back into that. But I really, you know, I wanted them to watch the series, but the only problem is the sex in the series. Like, I was like, that's the part I have a problem with, kind of letting my kids watch it. Yes, most of them are adults now. But, you know, I do admit, I don't like watching those kind of things in front of my children. Like, I don't mind all the other shit. And like I said, I don't even mind killing and gore and whatever. But sex is kind of uncomfortable. It's weird, okay? I don't know why. You know, it's just kind of one of those things. So I was like, oh, God. But, like, we had to watch, you know, like you know, like, when we had to watch, you know, that Oppenheimer movie in the theater. There was sex in that thing, you know. My poor kids had to go watch that, you know, because sometimes, you know. But yeah, minus the sex in Tudors, that is fucking good too. Like, I love that series. I think I know Aiden will like it. You know, Raymond, he'll be like, oh, it's kind of boring. I know how he is. He'll be like, that's boring, Mom. But I kind of want him to get the gist of kind of history, because I really feel like that stuff is important. How people were treated back then, what their problems were. Like they say, you know, about the history repeating itself. I'm not saying it's going to repeat itself, but, you know, and I feel like sometimes watching videos, even if they're not completely accurate, kind of gives an idea. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I like watching the movies that are historical. That's why I like watching the even the TV series that are historical, because you learn something from them. You kind of, it's a kind of different perspective, and there's so many of them, so you could watch different ones and kind of piece together kind of a general idea of what, you know, happened. That to me is more interesting in history than reading history books about facts. That the facts in the history books might not have been interesting because they might have explained some of the stuff. You know, like there might have been interesting stories in them. I don't remember anymore. You know, most people remember school history is boring as hell, right? So that's why I'm like, you know, and when you start piecing together things like this and that and about history and people and even things that you may not even remember, like you might not recognize this king or that queen, it's kind of cool to see. It's kind of cool to see how the Catholics ruled back then, even, you know, how sneaky and evil they were and how people were poisoning each other and you couldn't trust this person, you couldn't, and yeah, some of the history is so fucking sad. It is heartbreaking, some of it, you know, like, because like I said, a lot of times bad people did win, right? You know, and I mean, so it did make me think about that, because I was like, yeah, maybe I should go back and make them watch to come do the Tudors too, and just deal with the sex, okay? Just deal with it. But because it's like I said, I just want them to kind of understand, you know, history wasn't boring. It was pretty interesting. And I mean, I don't know, let's face it, they had royalties and shit like that, and our system is so different now, but I can't imagine the stories that they would tell about us and let's say our presidents and our congressmen and shit like that. You know what I mean? I mean, the little bits and pieces I hear about it is not always that great. It's kind of like okay, like remember who couldn't spell potato and embarrassed himself? Somebody, they said, didn't even know who the hell Abraham Lincoln was. You know, a statue of him. They didn't even know who the hell that guy was, and they were a president. You know what I mean? That's just like silly little fact things that you hear. And I mean, I can't imagine, like, you know, how they're gonna say about Biden when he was falling, you know, falling over and everything. I mean, our history sounds a lot more boring than the Renaissance era. That's what's kind of crazy. And I don't know if it's because maybe it was boring back then, but we romanticized it and made up stories and this and that, you know what I mean? Because let's face it, shit does happen. Like, I mean, I remember when they said this Russian, I don't know if it would have been the president or whoever, but when basically he got thrown out a damn hospital window. And I'm like, it's obviously he was thrown out and he didn't kill himself and whatever, right? And yeah, shit like that. And there are some interesting movies. Like I watched the one with that, you know, Snow. I don't remember, you know, that tech guy that ended up living in Russia later on, you know? And I thought, yeah, that guy's with our enemies? That's crazy, you know? And I guess you can't call them our enemies, right? Because that's probably wrong. But anyway, you know, I mean, it's just one of those things. You're like, whoa, that's kind of strange. That's kind of very crazy, you know? But that was a good movie too. So we do have good movies, but that might be exaggerated, that might be, you know what, but, you know, but they're still out there, right? I mean, yeah, there's definitely still history stories that are out there, modern, that are good, but yeah, I don't know what they would do for, like I said, as I'm just saying, for the political side, it might seem very boring. You know what I mean? Like, who cares who slept with who and who, whatever, murdered who, you know, or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I mean, not that anyone's getting murdered, because let's face it, who's died recently? You know, but you know what I'm saying. Back in the old days, there was a lot more shit happening. But yeah, I don't know. They probably would. I guess one of these days when we're old, I guess we'll see what kind of movies they make about today's history. You know, they're always making jokes about it being really lame, right? Like, everyone takes pictures of their food. Right? They're like, look, this is what they took pictures of. Food! Selfies! Stupid shit, right? So, yeah, there is that. Now that we can take as many photos as we want, yeah, I guess take the stupidest photos ever, right? Goodness gracious, yeah. And I screenshot so much shit, it's not even funny. I mean, I'm going through mine and deleting a lot of shit, but there's definitely things I'm like, why? I thought I needed this. I thought this would be important future-wise. No. You know, even some of the recipe shit I photocopied, I was like, would I even make this ever? Probably not. Need to delete it. You know? Okay, so I got on with that. Anyway, there was another topic I wanted to talk about, but I don't know if I should even talk about it on this damn channel. I probably shouldn't. So I guess I'm not going to, but I really want to because it's kind of an interesting thing in my head that I've been circling around. But I guess I can't. So I'm going to make a private video because I'm just going to do that since I can't probably post about it online. Anyway, I'll talk to you later.